I'm never going to look at someone that spins a 1520 or whatever it might be next as more impressive than a 540. It's so much harder to do it first. It's one of those barriers that won't be broken again. Let's just call it what it is. It's a McTwist.
Yeah, that was... People are like, what? 40 years? Like, I was like, yeah, I was 5, you know, when I learned them. This was
84.
1984, summer of 84, Lance.
That whole era was very much based upon doing well in contests or coming up with moves that no one else did.
These guys from California, this guy named Fred Blood was a roller skater, and Duke Rennie. You know, we saw those guys a lot at demos or whatever, but those were the only guys that we kind of respected because all the other guys were just like goofy, you know what I mean? And these guys actually tried to grab like they were doing a skate trick, so we're like, all right, those guys are all right. Anyway, Fred Blood spun a 540 right in front of my face at this keyhole.
A 540, look at the height on that one. He's cooking.
But I'm like, man, that's so unfair. You know, I wish we could do something like that, you know, but we gotta grab the board and, you know.
Let's head for something again, and there's another 540 in the opposite direction.
I want to say that the roller skaters, a lot of skaters had seen this. We had a year or two to picture it, kind of like the loop. People were trying them at the bottom, like doing mute threes, and people were trying to spin around.
Stacy Peralta, probably a few years before that, was doing these 540 slides. He would just like, whew, just spin it. It was just like that. And we're like, whoa, you know what I mean? So I think maybe us thinking of him doing that and Fred Blood spinning around, it stuck in my mind. And then I think it was 8 months later when I went to summer camp with Lance, we had skated one of the biggest transition ramps that we had ever skated at the time. It was probably like 12-foot transitions with basically no vert, and there was like a piece of Schmidt stick rail for coping.
There wasn't when we got there, we put it on.
That's right, that's right. We put it on, that's right. Anyway, Lance and I had skated this for, I don't know, 3 weeks. We had done all the tricks we could possibly do. Like, we just did everything we could do. I mean, it was a perfect ramp. It was like, we never skated anything like that before. But when you first started skating it, it was like, wow, this is like really big. Like, how are we gonna skate this? And then you just got used to it because you had a lot of transition to land. And it was hardly no vert, basically. Anyway, I went to the ramp that day and I was thinking about this trick for a while. I saw it in my head, I knew I could do it, but I'm like, I'm just so scared, you know, like I don't want to fall backwards, I don't want to hit my head, I'm like, you know, there's no way I can do it low. This is uncharted territory. But it was all about getting high enough to spin and then seeing your landing. So after about 30 minutes, I actually landed one. No, it just felt so natural. I was like, wow, like, I wonder what I did. There was 2 kids on the ramp. One of them was Bod Boyle. I went to ask Bod and his friend, like, what did it look like? They already took off back to the camp to tell Lance and everyone, like, that I made this trick.
And I was over there having my dinner. He made one, get your camera, and I'm thinking, okay, I guess that's cool. Shoot him like kind of sliding around halfway up or whatever.
Lance came back with his equipment and everything. He's like, there's no way that McGill did it. Like, what did he do it? Like at the bottom or like halfway up, you know, like.
But he went to the top of the ramp. And I'm thinking, why is he starting at the top of the ramp? And he did a 6-foot high backside air and then a 540 over my head. I was like, shot a picture, I think, and I was like, I don't have an auto winder. And I think I made him do like 12. He made 12 in a row. Didn't ever bail him. His fake sequence of black and white, he made them so many times, and he just did it. To learn tricks, we always learned stuff low and worked up. You learn it at the bottom, you work your way up. To me, that was the whole thing. You couldn't test it. You can't do a 2-foot one and go, okay, that's what it feels like. You have to like learn this trick coming out of the sky from 6 feet high. So you came from this big 12-foot thing and then had to do them at Del Mar, which was tiny.
I hung up most of the time and just.
the flipping style adopted from yanking off the wall on smaller things to get around.
You know what? You're probably right. You're probably right. I didn't think about it that way.
It was rad. I was like, dude, I gotta go do this. I was scared, and so I opened up on my first one. But I learned the motion by going, oh, it's guts. And the beauty of that move was really only 5 people did it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And we just got to have a free ride for 10 years.
What'd they chant, Lance?
McTwist.
They just say twist, twist, twist. You know, we were like, oh shoot, I don't know if I'm gonna make the cut, Lance. Well, you're gonna have to do the twist. You're gonna have to do. So we both did, and we were always in the cut.
I would enter a contest, and I was like, I'll do an axle stall at 540, get in the cut.
These guys would always come up to me. They're like, yeah, thanks, Mike. You know, your trick took me out. I'm like, dude, like what? you know, we're not jocks, but you better get your body tuned because yeah, this trick will take you out and put you away for a while. So
Everyone else said like, well, you're ruining this for us. And so it was a gnarly dividing line to us. Like either we do this or we're done. And I don't think you really knew or even presented yourself as like, there's no one in the world like me.
who does it best in my opinion? I mean, I definitely like the flipping, point of it. Old videos of Christian doing it because he just got so upside down and he would float, across the ramp. I love watching Lance do them off extensions because I never see anybody do them up an extension. Like, it's like, wow. Tony is so consistently, doing them, but he's more of a flat spin, but I think he flips over now. I really liked seeing the different combinations of them, like Indy 540s. Sluggo did a derriere 540, one of the first ones to do the grabbing the tail. I was like, how is that? It's almost like an ollie 540 and then grab the tail, Like, it's just interesting to see what all these guys do. And then to have guys like Tom Shar, doing them, 16-foot channels, and yeah, it's pretty exciting, yeah.
The legacy of the 540, it broke another barrier. There's a few barriers that have to be broken for it to like advance to the next thing. If no one broke that barrier, it would have been moved in another direction. It would have been all lip tricks, or it would have been only street skating without spins. And for him, it was just, I did what I wanted to do in skateboarding. I wanted to do something that was mine. You did.
Make me
Big
feel
time.
good. Thank you.
You should feel good. Let's talk about when we stopped doing them.